No way, there's a L Doug? Ha! There's also a band called the Doug Dugs. Or was a band. Hello, L Doug from Mexico. Hola. Hello, Salmon. So I'm going to probably say this a bunch of times today. I'm streaming on Twitch right now. I've just started. Yesterday was my first cast, and I sculpted this. I decided I wanted to make his vertebrae right here really tall, so I'm going to modify it a little bit. But if you want a better view, oh, thank you, Salmon. If you want a better view, go check out Twitch. Put a lot of work the last few days trying to get a decent broadcast. So right now I have 0 viewers on Twitch, which is awesome. But thanks for joining me on Instagram. This wire is not cooperating. Oh, hey, the age of hipster art. Thanks for joining. Glad you could come by. So I'm just gonna elongate some of these here. Thank you for Shilurch. I probably said that completely wrong. Sounded kind of nasty. Ehrlich. Oh, Farshid Ehrlich. Hello. Hey, so if anyone out there is on Twitch, I'm streaming on Twitch right now with a 3-camera setup. So if you want to join me there, it looks pretty cool, I think. And currently, I still have 0 viewers on Twitch. Help me launch my Twitch. All right. Oh, thank you. The Age of Hipster Art. I appreciate that. Thank you, Subplumidate. I got to get better at reading internet names. Probably offending every name I read. Okay. Whoa, I almost set some fabric on fire, I think. Started to smoke. It can't be good. Absent-minded. Thanks for all the hearts, who's ever pouring hearts my way. I appreciate it. So what I'm doing now is um, epoxy cures based on heat, and so I'm just accelerating the curing process of the epoxy because I want this to set up so I can keep going. This guy's almost sculpted, but I just wanted to add some ridiculously tall vertebrae here. So that's all I'm doing right now. Once I'm done with that, I'll paint him. The base shape is uh, plywood, two pieces of plywood sandwiched together with a T-nut in the middle. So I can uh, bolt it onto a base, bolt it onto a holder to make sculpting easier, and also to make shipping and general transportation easier as well. So I can bolt a bunch of these to a single board and go to an event really easily. I don't have to pack them up. And then for shipping, I can bolt them on into a box. See if this is set up yet. Nope. Still really. Yeah, the T-nut idea is I think that's like the best day of my artistic career because I used to have so much trouble transporting. Uh, oh, thanks, the Age of Hipster Art. I appreciate that. Yeah, I spent like most of the last 2.5 days setting that up. Um, Fortunately, I had most of the gear already just laying around. Um, I'm using an old. Oh yeah, well, Ghoul, just see if you can work T-nuts into your pieces. It'll make a world of difference. Still not set up yet. I'm sure this is like the most exciting thing you've ever seen. Me blow drying a dog. Starting to get there. Hey, Rania. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm streaming this on Twitch right now. Go check it out if you do Twitch. Um, I got a 3-camera setup, and yeah. So right now, I guess maybe it hasn't logged hipster art, but I have 0 viewers right now on Twitch. So come and check it out. This hair is various fibers saturated with acrylic. So there's some old sock in there. There's some fake fur. There's some really rough yarn. I think those are the 3 things I used for the hair. And this is starting to set up. Yeah, it's really close. Maybe my viewer count just isn't working. Anyone out there in Twitch land, send me a note if anyone is watching on Twitch. Yeah, they're really close. Come on. Finish your setting up, Mr. Epoxy. Yeah, it's going to take me a while to figure out all the ideal camera angles on Twitch, that is. Three watching, huh? All right, so my viewer count thing is not working. But the one thing I've learned about Twitch this last half week is it's a process figuring it out and setting it up. Oh, thank you, Blood Catters. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been wearing my hair like this for about 15 years now, and uh, other incarnations for probably about 25. Okay, I'm sure everyone's happy that that's done. I think it's done. Yeah, that's hard enough. Woo! Okay, so that's one huge advantage of working with epoxy is that you can speed up the curing process with heat if you want, but you need to be really careful when you're doing it because um, especially if you've got some detail in there that you don't want to lose. Um, uh, if you heat up the epoxy too fast, it'll bubble. I forget what the official or what the technical term for it is, but if it starts to bubble, you're going to lose all your detail. It can look really cool, but um, if there's stuff that you want to keep and you're heating it up, do it super slowly, super carefully. Um, yeah. The other thing about heating up epoxy is the faster it cures, my understanding is um, the the weaker it is. So I mean, this it's so tough, and this is not really terribly structural here. It's just locking down. I mean, it's kind of structural because I'm locking down these wires, but um, uh, you know, if you were using epoxy for something uh, where you're really concerned about strength, don't probably don't speed up the curing process. And definitely don't let it bubble, because if you let it bubble, then it still cures hard, but more brittle, in at least in my experience. I make these all really kind of weird, these vertebrae things. For how long have I made sculptures? You mean how long have I been sculpting? Since the early 90s. I mean, I sculpted as a kid a little bit, but not seriously. And in like 93, I really started spending a lot of time sculpting. But I took a long break when I got addicted to 3D computer graphics, and I stopped real media sculpting and um, you know, worked making movies for a long time. Uh, but sculpture is my first love in terms of artwork, and so I'm really happy to be back at it. I left I quit my job at DreamWorks about I think 3.5 years ago now, and took like a 95% pay cut to get back to sculpting, and no regrets. People in Twitch land, someone send me a hey if you can hear me, because yesterday I had audio problems. So if you're on Twitch and you send me a note that you can hear me, that would be appreciated. This guy doesn't really have a name yet. Let me know if you have ideas. Um, he kind of reminds me of a crocodile and a dog, so I was thinking of calling him Crocodoodle, but I don't really have a name for him yet. Crocodoodle's pretty fun though. He might be offended though by having such a silly name. Thank you, Biggie Z, and thank you, Pixie Gamma. And still no note from anybody on Twitch. That's okay. Oh, the head is made of epoxy. And that kind of answers the next question too. I'm sculpting with epoxy sculpting putty. It is this stuff right here. Oh, that's looks reversed to me, but maybe it's not reversed to you. I don't know how these cameras work. This is called Sculpt Epox, but this product in particular is hard to find now. So, oops, if you want to use something like this, I recommend Magic Sculpt. Super easy to find. Um, uh, it's great stuff, but that's why I use the gloves, because long-term exposure to epoxy, I think, is a really bad idea. In fact, sometimes when I sculpt with epoxy, I wear a respirator because I spend so much time with this stuff. I'm worried that the health label warnings on the product are really not adequate. So I'm trying to prevent myself from, getting some horrible condition. Artists are constantly killing themselves with their mediums. That's one reason I love water-based clay, is because the only um, uh, health concern there is the dust, and you can really easily manage that. That's not the only health concern. Like finishing water-based clay with ceramic, with glazes and or with oxide washes and stuff can be toxic, but the actual sculpting part, there's no toxicity issues really. It is smelly. Um, uh, I don't know. I don't know if it dries my hands out, because I haven't used bare hands with it in decades. Would not use this with my bare hands anymore. Um, and yeah, Avis epoxy is the same deal. Exactly. In fact, I have some right here. So same deal. They're all a little different, and they're all the same. So yeah, if you're familiar with one, you're familiar with the others. But try out different ones, because they do have slightly different properties. Um, if you spend a lot of time with epoxy. How long does it set up? How long do you have to before it sets up? 2 hours, maybe. It depends on the volume of the clay that you're working with, and it depends on the temperature. Earlier, I was using a heat gun, a tiny little heat gun, to uh, speed up the curing. So you can cure it up in a few minutes if you want. Um, but the working time really isn't a problem, because if it starts to set up, you just mix up more. And if something's setting up that's, you don't like, you can always just cut it off. I mean, obviously that's not ideal to redo your work, but the cure time really isn't a problem. Um, uh, this is not traditional clay. The question is, are your other? Oh yeah, yeah. So uh, are your other sculptures traditional clay? The busts are traditional clay. So pretty much all of the busts that I do are water-based clay fired in a kiln, and pretty much all of the full figures are mixed media, which almost always has a bunch of epoxy and um, and then a bunch of fabric saturated with acrylic or whatever. Yeah, I think I'm going to make it more gnarly than it is now. I'm starting to think I might like attach um, attach the top bits here together, sort of. I'm not sure. I don't want it to turn into like a Spinosaurus type of thing, but I'm kind of thinking maybe what I'll do, I don't know, I might take a little paper and just like barely like just the tiniest hint of connectivity there with some paper or something. I'm not sure. Hey, Twitch people. So yeah, yesterday I sculpted this on Twitch. Oh, let's see. Um, yeah, so we'll see. Ravishing. Uh, Not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. I sculpted this yesterday on Twitch, and it was pretty much done. But then I decided I wanted to um, give him a more cool spine crest thing. He was just a little bit drab without something extra. Anyone that wants to join me on Twitch, I've got 3 cameras on Twitch right now. Um, have I ever seen the stop motion animation trapdoor? No, I haven't. Is it a short or what? My favorite animation currently, if and not that I've seen every animation ever, but um, if you haven't seen uh, back uh, uh, Backwater Gospel, I think the name of it. Um, yeah, my Instagram channel is DUGSTANAT, Doug Stanett. Um, anyway, Backwater Gospel, check it out. It is just so awesome. Favorite animation. Um, I don't paint my busts. So my busts I finish using traditional ceramic finishing techniques, namely oxide washes. So it's essentially suspending metal in water, little tiny metal particles in water, and then coating the um, coating the ceramic with it, and then firing it so that the metal melts onto the water, so melts onto the clay. Um, so that's how I finish the ceramic. This guy I'm going to paint with acrylics. Um, so do you add it? And so yeah, I'm going to paint this guy today. Uh, I guess my Instagram cast will end in times out at 45 minutes, but I'll start another one if I haven't started painting by it then. Um, do I use any reference? It totally depends. If I'm doing a something that I'm not very familiar with, yeah, I'll do reference. And in fact, I don't do a whole lot of quads. So like starting this one out, I had my Muybridge animal book out, so I could get a reasonable quad shape, but I didn't do it really the way I wanted to. I think these should be longer here and these shorter. His, foot should be longer and his, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I use reference. Uh, sometimes I don't. Um, just depends. Um, Oh, I now I remember the trap door. Actually, yeah. Now that you say 70s children's show from England, I totally have seen a little bit of that. Because people have said, "Hey, yeah, Doug, you need to check this out." So yeah, I have seen some, but I don't know that I've ever, I don't know, watched a full episode or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's totally fun, silly and creepy. Hey, thank you, Bo Mathrone. I appreciate that. That's funner now. He's much funner. Not sure what I'm making, although it may be called a crocodoodle. That's the working title right now, I guess. Quadruped of some sort that you may or may not want to have as a pet. The hair is actually three different things. So the hair is some fake fur and some really rough yarn and some uh, inside of my sock. Never throw your old clothes away. Send them to me. Um, and then all that stuff is just munged together and it was saturated with acrylic and then applied in different places and in different concentrations so that you know using different kinds of fabrics makes it. Uh, oh, I'm not caught up here. Wax? No, this is epoxy that I'm working with right now. Oh, thanks, Biggie Z. Oh, awesome. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, working loose is the best. Um, it just makes it more fun. You get more stuff done. Uh, yeah, I love working loose. Anybody's on Insta or anybody's on Twitch, send me a note. Let me know that you can hear me because I was having audio problems yesterday. Epoxy's starting to stick to me more than is ideal. No, I rarely use Super Sculpey. I'm not fond of polymer clays. I don't like the way Super Sculpey bounces against the tools, and also it's not ideal for mixed media because you know, like this, I don't have to worry about frying my hair, frying the fabric in an oven. Uh, that being said, lots of people, lots of like amazing sculptor pro people use um, polymer clay, so like Sculpey. So don't, just my dislike for Sculpey, don't let that influence you, because everybody has different preferences, and every medium has its pluses and minuses. So yeah, just because I don't use it doesn't mean that it's not the best thing for you. Thank you, Aerialist. I appreciate that. Monster clay. I've never used it. It it, uh, it has a great reputation, but in general, I don't use things that aren't designed to uh, finish up on their own. So, like someone using Monster clay, if they wanted to sell what they made, it would probably they'd probably be casting it. So, uh, that being said, uh, if you're just playing around, or if you're planning on casting, uh, then I would be really surprised if Monster Clay wasn't a really smart choice. Now I'm wondering if I should make his crest on his skull a little messed up. I think I will. Hey, thanks, Gobble Porch. Gobble Porch, what kind of work do you do? Yeah, that's all right. In a lot of ways, that's the best way to do it. Keep yourself free and clear so you can not worry about it and create exactly what you want to create. I'm just roughing up the crest here a little bit to the match the look of the spine. I like that better. Thank you, Ronald Away. appreciate that. All right, I think I'm now really done. Thought I was done last night, but I decided to add the I decided to extend the vertebrae. Oh, thanks, Arielist. It's my pleasure. It's fun. Keeps me company while I work. A little worried about how thin that is right there. Okay. All right, good. Oops, I just made a mess with my water. Ay, ay, ay. Dropping epoxy. All right. I'm going to move on to painting. Oh, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do here for the paint job. Some water. This is my sculpting station, not my painting station, so I'm kind of got to move stuff over here as I go. All right. Do I ever put my bust with hair in the kiln? Well, I never put, well, the, not sure what you mean. I only put, I only fire clay. So when the clay, I don't put you know, fake fur on clay and fire it in the kiln. Sometimes I do use the kiln to heat up, to cure the epoxy faster, but that's only at like 130 degrees. All right, brushes, I need some brushes. Anybody got any ideas about what color this thing should be? Hey, Axe, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Let's see here. I'm going to start with, I'm using golden fluid acrylics. Um, and I'm using, I almost exclusively use golden products, but I'm also using um, Future Floor Wax Pledge, like 50% floor wax, 50% water. And it's amazing. I can't find a professional art product that mimics its properties. It helps the paint dry in the crevices without splitting apart like nothing else I know of. So, highly recommend that. Hey, dude.
Hey, dude.
I'm live.
Ah, I see. How's it going?
Good.
Looking cool.
What colors do I have in mind? Well, I have a turquoise out now, and so I'm probably going to mix a little bit of turquoise with a lot of raw umber and black. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit weird painting this guy green, but that's okay. Let's see. See what happens. So I'm just giving him a wash now. It's really not much paint at all. Mostly water and you know, floor wax medium. This is probably actually lighter than I should be doing. Should probably have starting out a little bit darker than that. This epoxy isn't done cured, which is okay to paint it like that, but you have to make sure that you don't ruin it while you're going along. So I'm actually going to darken up this first pass here. Hey, Starla. Thanks for joining. Creep Tunes, thank you. Hey, dude, I love your work too. Um, do I sculpt every day? I wish I did, but the business of art gets in the way of art. So unfortunately, I don't sculpt every day. Um, ooh, I like what's happening when I add this darker color onto the base of where the lighter color is. I like that a lot. So I'm going to keep going with that. Get this lighter color up on top here. So I can do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, unfortunately, it's hard to get artwork done when you're trying to make a living as an artist. So I try to sculpt every day, but it doesn't always work out. And then sometimes, you know, you're traveling or whatever, and then unless you're sculpting at the convention, which I'm trying to do. Actually, I'm trying to do more convention sculpting. So I'm going to be doing Emerald City Comic Con. Anybody out there going to be at East CCC? I might sculpt at that. I haven't decided. Um, uh, are my sculptures for sale? Yes, everything I make, almost everything I make is for sale. So if you go to my website, dugosaurus.com, and go to the shop, you can see what is for sale. The price range is huge. So if you want to spend a couple $1,000, go for it. And if you want to spend $100, there's something for you there. So check it out, please. Be my pleasure to sell you some sculpture. Yeah, it's a weird wolf. That's exactly the kind of thing it is. Yeah, I appreciate that, Orongus. Boodlebard. That's an awesome name. I'm sure I mispronounced it, but different epoxies take paint in way different ways. So right now, this epoxy that I took, it's not primed, which is okay, but it's taking the epoxy like really, I mean, taking the paint really lightly. Whereas like Magic Sculpt, the paint uh, gets absorbed um, more more readily. Have no idea why they would be different. This paint is golden fluid acrylics, which is my favorite. I use almost exclusively golden products, and water and future floor wax or pledge. Awesome stuff. I learned about it from miniature sculptors. Um, yeah, so I hit my 45-minute limit, I guess. Let's see. I need something for the base. Purple is my go-to color for the base. This world needs more purple. Let's see. How is shipping handled overseas? Well, it's expensive, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility. So if you email me and tell me what piece you want and what country you're in, I can give you an estimate for overseas shipping. I have yet to have a loss or break overseas, I think. Um, what inspires me to create? I I find that I'm most creative when I'm creating. So like when I started out doing this guy, this is not what I had in mind. I pretty much had nothing in mind. So if you sit around wondering what you're going to create, then you might not create anything at all. But if you just start creating, then you're definitely going to create something. And if you have no idea what you're going to create, in some ways that's better because then, um, you know, it's a surprise and it's not so much a product of your brain as a product of your brain plus a ton of other things. Um, so I guess that doesn't really answer the question though. What inspires me to create? I want to make things that people haven't seen before and that are fun to look at and make life more interesting. So, oh, that's way too purple. Um, so that's what, inspires me as a creator. Um, I need another cup. Is, hopefully making the world a more interesting and fun place. Uh, this old container and the paint doesn't want to come out. The paint's inside is fine, but the nozzle is stubborn. It's an old man of a nozzle. Come on out. Paint. There must be a goop of something stuck in there. So I resort to pouring. Thank you, Handrill. Appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Making art is a lot funner when you know people are enjoying it. Okay, that's better. So now I got a little bit of purple and a lot of black and raw umber. Everything I do has black and raw umber in it. Almost never use straight black, but raw umber and black is magic. Get some more dots of purple in there. Sometimes I just put paint right on the sculpture and then blend it in. Again, it's probably too purpley. Have I ever had my creatures animated? I don't think so. Um, uh, there have been glimmers of that. The only thing that I've had animated, I guess, is stuff that I've done while I was at DreamWorks. So I've basically been involved in some character design at DreamWorks. I was a puppet maker, which means I wasn't a character designer, but I did actually get to design some characters based off of existing things when variations were needed. So for example, the hey, Terry's here. Are you still here, Terry? I'll see you soon, yeah? Um, uh, yeah, so like the four penguins in Madagascar, those what they did was they gave me a model that they had done of a penguin design, and they said, we want you to make four penguins, four different characters out of this model. So I took the model and changed it in four different ways so that none of them were the original design. And that's what they used for Skipper, Private Kowalski, and Rico. So that in that way, characters that I've done have been animated, but nothing that I've done like privately. But there are glimmers of possibilities in the future. So who knows? Maybe cross your fingers. Um, Terry's here. So if to all of the massive 11 people watching me, if you don't follow Terry, go and follow Terry. He does amazing paintings and drawings, and yeah, love his work. Um, so Terry, yeah, you're welcome for the one person who might follow you now with my massive following. Um, hey, Engine Cogs, and thank you, Al Hambles. Yeah, Terry and I get to be neighbors at Son of Monster Palooza in Burbank in the fall, in October. Whereas I guess September, I guess it is. Um, so that's super fun. Hey, thanks, Terry. No, I do not work for DreamWorks anymore. I quit about 3.5 years ago to go full-time sculpting. And um, yeah, then the studio was at I was at PDI DreamWorks, um, and like a year after I left, they closed down the whole studio. So that was super sad. That was like losing a friend. Uh, but pretty much everybody at the studio just went off to bigger and better things. So still sad though, because that was the oldest computer graphics studio in the world. They did Ants and Shrek, and before that they were doing flying logos for football games and all sorts of movie stuff. And it was just like the culture there was amazing, super nice people, and just poof, disappeared. Really sad. Somebody asked about turntable. Man, it's a complicated it's complicated. Um, I was using a Lego Mindstorm robot that I built from my kids' Lego Mindstorm because they weren't using it. And then I thought, hey, there's this product out there that's crazy expensive, but it's going to make my life better. Um, and I bought it, and I'm kind of regretting it because it's just so buggy. Um, so it's from Poland, and like the hardware is amazing. It's like a tank. You could drop it from 5 stories, and it would probably survive. But they went like the whole 9 yards or whatever you say with the hardware, and then they just dropped the ball on the software. So anyway, hopefully it'll end up being awesome, but maybe to just end up being a giant waste of money. Um, anyway, I've kind of I want to let this guy dry a little bit because I have more work to do, but I don't want to mess up too much of what's going on here now. Maybe I'll do a little bit of dry brushing on the on the fur to accentuate the texture. I'm going to just use a cold gun and try to speed up the drying. Thanks, MJ Price. Appreciate it. Okay. Just going to hunt down spots where you can see all the way into the skin and just black them out with epoxy. And you know, I haven't really given much thought to making environments because I'm so into the character of them. So yeah, I don't. It would just take so much time. So you got to prioritize. So if anybody wants to make an environment, that'd be awesome. Yes, I sell my sculpture all the time. That's how I make my living. So you can go to dugosaurus.com and click on shop and check it out. Thanks very much for your interest. All right, my Spanish is horrible. Thanks, Terry. Qual material. Okay, so I think that's saying what material do I use? So this one is epoxy and fabric saturated with glue. So stuff like this and the inside of my sock, this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I was going to do a little bit of hair work. All right, so I got some Titan buff and some raw sienna and some zinc white and some titanium white. And you might say, why two whites? What's the difference? Well, the main difference is that the titanium white is super powerful. It masks stuff. And the zinc white is super weak. So it's almost like just applying a lighten filter, which is, can be really handy. Looking for a good brush to use for dry brushing. See how this goes. Hey, Fjordor5, thank you for following. Really appreciate it. Oops, just got purple paint on myself. All right. So first layer of dry brushing is done. So that was with some raw sienna. And go with, just get lighter and lighter on the dry brushing. So now go to tighten buff. which is it's yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the exact mix is. Because if you had the right colors, you could mix your own, but I use enough Titan Buff to not want to mix it, just use it straight out of the bottle. That's bringing out the hair nicely. And I'll apply this in a, oops, that's too heavy. Apply this, or attempt to apply this less heavily than the previous layer and just get lighter and lighter and lighter. This might be the last layer of dry brushing because I don't want to have, I don't want to go all the way to white with the dry brushing. Or if I do, it'd just be like tiny little highlights. All right, I'm liking that. Looks fine to me. Got some detail work to do on the feet and on the face. Oh, it turns out I'm adding some purple in there now by accident. I dipped my brush in the wrong thing. That's okay though. Kind of cool. Okay, just a little hint of purple in there. Dab around a little bit more color variation on the base just for fun. do some detail work. Now I'm going to get some titanium white and some zinc white both out so I can use them at the same time. Hey, Lethargic Noodles, thanks for joining. So, Lethargic Noodles, I extended the the um, the spines. She felt a little bit boring. Um, so that's the first thing I did when I started streaming, and now pretty close to, well, I got the first pass of painting done. I'm going to move on to detail work. So. Actually, I just bought a new airbrush, new compressor for my airbrushes. I don't airbrush a lot, but uh, it's an amazing tool, and I've been coveting a nice compressor for probably like 20 years or something. I finally treated myself to a nice compressor. Be a good thing to be doing these teeth with right now, but it's not set up yet. I've been busy setting up my Twitch. And now I'm busy getting ready for ECC. That's what I'm doing right now. I need more sketches for ECC. ECCC. It's not an easy word to say. 3 C's in a row is not good. Thanks, Noodles. I'm doing really well. How are you doing? Yeah, that's, I figure after like lusting after a quiet compressor for 20 years, it was okay to treat myself. Um, and I'll probably end up using my airbrushes more because of it. But yeah, right. You know, I've been using just a hardware store giant beast of a machine. It's just so annoying when it goes on. It's just not fun to be around. Oh yeah, Bob Ross is a national treasure for sure. I like starting my detail work while there's still some wet paint on there because it can lead to some good blending. But at this point, what's happening with these teeth is just getting a little bit too lost. So I'll probably finish them off later and move on to the nails. It's probably going to be the same sort of situation. But I'm not as concerned about the nails showing up as I am about the teeth. Nails just sort of a side note. Actually, I'm doing these way differently, aren't I? I'm just globbing on the white, and then I'll mellow it out with something later. There. I like the way those pads are looking. Probably can't see that very well, but I've got those pads. I kind of like them. back in just 1 minute. I just restarted it now. I am back. It doesn't look like it's quite in focus, does it? Okay. All right. What's next? Maybe I can put some highlights on those spines and this vertebrae. Epoxy is still bendy, so I need to be careful painting it. All right. Start working on the eyes. That'll make him quite a bit more alive. Or dead, as the case may be. my glasses. Definitely one of the worst things about getting old is having your eyes crap out on you. So far, for me at least. This is where my airbrush should be really nice. point. It's getting pretty close. I need to let the paint dry before I can really finish up the detail work. But given that it's a sketch, there's not that much detail work to do. I like to use the high flow acrylics for my signature. They're also really good in an airbrush, but again, I don't do a lot of airbrush work, so. I think he needs a little more dry brush work, actually. I think I will use a little white, but first I'll go back to the titanium, or to the Titan buff, and get that a little heavier here. Yeah, that's a little better. Maybe a little white. A whitish type buff. Yeah, that's more exciting. Higher contrast. Hey, Aerialist. Yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi connection went down, and because I was streaming on Twitch, since I'm new to this, the family was worried about rebooting the Wi-Fi because they were worried I would lose my Twitch connection. So uh, it's hard to see. If you go, man, that's really backlit now, isn't it? If you go to Twitch, you'll get better views of it. But here, let me. Uh, there. Is it better? There we go. I'm finishing up the painting on this guy, who I sculpted on Twitch last night. Hey, Mathis Creations, how's it going? See you in April, yeah? Thank you, JPL. Thank you, Marina Nernia. Sorry, I'm sure I butchered that. Twitch is Dugstanat. Doug Stanat, just like I think that's exactly the same as my Instagram. Yeah, so I just started Twitch really last night. I did one the night before, but it was just for a couple of minutes. Hey, Randy, how's it going? Thanks for dropping by. If you guys don't know Randy's work, go and follow him. He's awesome, amazing, beautiful character work. Yeah, well, yeah, not too kind, Randy. It's I mean what I say. Um, and thank you, Cat Smuggler. Yeah, Lethargic Noodles. I just have my camera streaming Instagram, where uh, I have a bigger following, obviously, since I started on Twitch yesterday. So it's a crappy view, and hopefully maybe the Instagram people will be lured into Twitch. Um, but it's right now it's kind of just a backlit view of this thing. Go join me on Twitch, please. Ah, that's not good. It's supposed to be a light touch and it ended up being a barbarian smash. Oh, in part because I had the wrong paint on there. That'll do it. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Cat Smuggler. Yeah, the view there is better. Thanks, Lethargic Noodles. See, Lethargic Noodles on Twitch says that my view there is better. Trust Lethargic Noodles. Yeah, the camera angle is better than yet last night, huh? Because I got the main one shooting more over my shoulder, so I think my hands are in the way less. I think. His eyes are all messed up. Really not good right now. That's better already. If you listen really carefully, you can hear my youngest son doing a Scottish accent in the kitchen. I have no idea why. He's a funny fellow. He's talking about taters. Maybe he's cooking a tater. Hey, Lou Lucentillan, thanks for joining. Hey, thanks for coming on over here, Mr. Doom. Appreciate it. Yeah, the view's better, huh? And there's not a 45-minute cap. So I currently don't have a broadcast schedule for Twitch, but I plan on doing a lot of broadcasting like the next 4 days because I need to make some pieces for so I'm ready for Emerald City in 2 weeks. So I figure I should probably make 3 pieces in the next 5 days or something. Because I don't have a lot of sketches to sell right now. And showing up with only expensive pieces is not a good idea. I have lots of ceramic sketches to sell, but not a lot of mixed media sketches. So do keep an eye out on Twitch the next few days. Uh, yeah, I'm totally doing Monsterpalooza this year. Both, um, well, I'm not signed up yet for Son of. I plan on doing Son of, but yeah, I'm doing the uh, Pasadena Monsterpalooza in April, and I'm gonna have 2 tables in Sculpt. So I guess that's not so special anymore if you can watch me sculpt on Twitch, but um, it's super fun to sculpt during Monsterpalooza. So I did that last Son of Monsterpalooza and had a blast. So yeah, hope to see you there. Who is Mr. Doom? Do I know you from Monsterpalooza? What do I use to do my sculptures? The mixed media sculptures. Uh, if you go to my website and click on About, I have sections on the mediums that I use, but of course I can tell you here too. Thank you, Engine Cogs. This is a wood base and a wire frame, and then epoxy for the head and spines and stuff, and then the hair is various fibers saturated with acrylic. So I've got some rough yarn and some fake fur and some old inside of my sock going on in here. And it's good to use a mix because then it's not so obvious to the viewer what the hell is going on. Um, so did that answer your question? Let me know if you have any more medium questions. For saturating the cloth, I generally use golden soft gel medium. Thank you, Mark Sart. Oh yeah, hey Josh. Um, yeah. Thanks for joining me here. Um, yeah, so are you going to be at Monsterpalooza this year? Oh, thanks, Engine Cogs. I appreciate that. That's helps me keep going. Helps me feed my kids. Thank you, access denied. I appreciate that. You know, this one, as far as a sketch goes, could be done anytime. It's just kind of like, how much more do I keep noodling it? And the less I noodle it, the more it keeps the price point down. But the more I noodle it, the better it looks. So, you know, it's kind of a push me, pull you at this point, because I could just call it done. Although tomorrow morning I'll come out and I'll find something I really don't like and I'll change it. That's pretty inevitable. If anyone sees something that bugs them, I want to hear about it because things can always be better. Oh yeah. Where are you coming from, Josh? How far away is it? Randy, thanks. I think you gotta, are you a member of Twitch? The interface is, is really, it takes a while to get used to. Like if you can't see the comment box, I think there's like an arrow to the right side that you can click to comment. But I think you have to probably be, you probably have to sign up for Twitch to before you can comment. Hey, thanks, Ant Weird. Hello. Thanks for joining. The working name for this creature, oh, it's too small for me to read. Sorry, I can't. Uh, Another thing I need to fix in my setup. Oh, I can read it there. Elia, the working name for this creature is Crocodoodle. Kind of because he reminds me of a crocodile and a dog, and my dog is a golden doodle, so I thought Crocodoodle was funny. But I don't know, that might change. Does anybody think Crocodoodle is just too not good? Anybody like Crocodoodle? Oh, good. All right. Well, then it's probably Crocodoodle. How old am I? I am 49. Um, and thanks, Engine Cogs. All right. Yeah, I guess probably no one's going to be like, oh, I hate it. But if two people are, I like it, then that's good enough. But I actually really appreciate it when people speak up and tell me they hate something um, it's not easy to do and it's valuable information. So it's like when when something messes up at a store and the manager doesn't want to hear about it, that's just like dumb. So, I mean, art's a little bit different because, it's all subjective and personal taste, but I still want to hear it. If somebody thinks something's dumb or if like a piece of anatomy is just totally off, like a real crocodoodle doesn't look anything like this. Oh, hey, hello from Argentina. Yeah, super. Thanks for joining me. Um, uh, one of my favorite coworkers from DreamWorks was from Argentina. Um, Thank you, Engine Cogs. I appreciate that. This one is a sketch. So this one was done super quickly. Um, Last night I spent, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 hours sculpting him, and today, I don't know, 2 more hours or something. So he's gonna end up being like 6 hours or something. Um, but they can be shorter than that. Like I did a demo at LexCon that I gave myself 4 hours, a 4 hour, time slot to do it, but I finished it, I think, in 3 hours. I mean, it was a total piece of crap, but it was still fun. Um, and then, they could take 3 months. It totally depends on the scope of the project. So, but doing the sketches is kind of my favorite because um, uh, you don't get hung up on making everything just so. It's, psychologically it's way easier. I just finished a really intense piece around well, like at the beginning of at the end of last year, and I was just so sick of it by the end of it doing it. Um, Oh, thanks, Elia. Thanks for following my Instagram. Yeah, sorry I haven't been posting on Instagram as regularly as I usually do. I've been so busy um, that my daily posts have fallen off. Um, yeah, I think I probably am going to keep the eyes white. I just love uh, ghostly white eyes. They need to be shaded, blended, shaded a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave them like that. If I give him pupils or anything, he's going to look like total goofball right off the bat if he just has a dot for pimple. And then if I did like a more realistic, like an iris thing, it would, I'd just be fighting it. So I mean, I could put a just a dot and have him. I'd like the way that looked, but it would make him even sillier, which is fine. But I don't know. I just really like um, ghostly white eyeballs. Um, yeah, I mean the access denied. The faster you get them done, the more you can start another one. And I actually, I started doing them quickly because uh, not everybody has, $1,000+ to spend on sculpture. So, it was important to me to offer people that don't have a big budget some of my artwork. And I didn't really think it was possible to do a piece in 3 hours with this in this medium, but it is. So you just forget about certain things, and you say like to hell with letting everything cure before you move on to the next step. Um, so yeah, it's really funny because what I used to view as basically an impossibility turned out to be one of the funnest things um, for me to do now. So, I mean, I still make more money selling the really elaborate pieces, but I sell way more um, sketches. Hey Ernie, hey Vagabond, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. I didn't approach these teeth very wisely. I might have should have just. Well, it's fine. I mean, they're going to end up being fine. It's just they've taken more time than they should have. But that's okay. Uh, did I sculpt the bones too? You mean did I start out with a bone armature? I started out with a wire armature, but I didn't sculpt. Um, I didn't like sculpt the bones. But if you're talking about the spines here, yeah, those are epoxy. Thank you, Vagabond. It's no bother at all. Tic Tac Sumac. Um, this is neither water-based nor oil-based. Uh, it's a mixed media sculpture, and the stuff that is sculpted is uh, epoxy. So it's a two-part putty, that you mix together and then it cures on its own. So you don't have to fire it or bake it. It's great for mixed media work. The busts that I do are ceramic. So that's a water-based clay fired in the kiln. Getting pretty close. Rip off some stray hairs that I don't like. Well, hey, thanks, Maldonado. I appreciate that. And MMD68, thanks so much. Um, I think I'm going to call it quits at this point. I'll probably do a little bit more touch up tomorrow morning when I come out and find something really wrong. But thanks so much to everyone. Oh, what type of paint do I use? Thank you, Sherguzen. I use mostly golden fluid acrylics. I love the golden brand and the fluid acrylics plus a bunch of different mediums. And I also use a lot of water and Pledge Future Floor Wax, which is a great acrylic medium, believe it or not. You can go on like miniature websites and read about it, but it's a great medium. Um, So yeah, thank you everyone. Let me get try to get a good shot of this for the Instagram for all 6 of you watching on Instagram. There we go. And thanks so much for joining me. Adios. And super big thanks to everyone on Twitch. Thanks for spending time with me. And I might be on later on tonight starting a new sculpture. So if you're on, come and join me again. Thank you.